Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Week in AI. I'm Kevin Cook, your field guide and storyteller for the fascinating arena of artificial intelligence. So, we've been doing the Friday space. I've been trying to do these videos, get them out before the space. Maybe I'll actually do that this time. So, one of my top things to talk about at this week's The Week in AI is the Mary Meeker Bond Report. Mary Meeker has done, and her research team at the bond team have done, they do an annual report where they do a deep dive of research on big trends. And this year they chose AI, not surprisingly. So this is Jason from Saster AI. He made a post of his top 10 takeaways, and he did a great job here. Especially he gives a big shout to Mary Meeker and her team. They're all named here. This is the title slide for trends, artificial intelligence. All right, so let's just go through some of these because they're pretty cool. All right, so user adoption is off the charts. When you think about early internet adoption, how it ramped on an exponential, that's what ChatGPT is seeing, obviously. Number two, the infrastructure math is also unprecedented, right? This is something I've been talking about since Q1 after the DeepSeek scare, was that the CapEx from the large hyperscalers plus Tesla plus Meta plus OpenAI was still going to be, like a 225 billion run rate, I would think. And so we're still seeing that. So this is another good look at that. All right. China's playing a different game. I'm going to show you another resource to see some of the charts, because this is a 340 page slide deck, basically. So thank God somebody read it so we didn't have to. Token costs have collapsed. So a token is, a piece of data, piece of information that is created by them, and the cost to do that has dropped significantly, just like any technology being super deflationary. So there's a good look at that. Now you can stop the video and blow these up and take a look at them. All right. Enterprise AI revenue growth defies traditional SaaS gravity. Well, SaaS is Jason's space, so he's really paying attention to this. So this is his number 5. And he gives the example of Cursor going from 1 million in ARR to 300 million in 25 months. In 2 years, they go from 1 million to 300 million annual recurring revenue. That's the acceleration that's possible for an AI native company that has product market fit. Open source models also exploding. Meta's Llama, Hugging Face. We talked about those last week with my colleague Ethan Feller at QuantSpace, and just the rapid growth of these models too that you don't hear much about in the way they serve their customers. All right, physical AI. I'm going to explode this one because this is an area that I'm most interested in, not because of autonomous driving, but because somehow I blew down the stack here. Here we go. But because of robotics. So, and what the demands of robotics, the potential of robotics, as Jensen talks about, they're not just simulating for training, they're creating synthetic data to train robots, and of which there could be potentially hundreds of millions of humanoid robots. Some people say more than that. So this is kind of a cool look at different companies doing different things. This was interesting. Apparently, somebody used drones and some kind of AI-powered laser system to weed a 230,000 acres, right? And so just the efficiency, the scale that you can achieve here is incredible. Enduro, what's his name? Palmer Luckey. He, the guy who sold Oculus to Mark Zuckerberg. His defense company is taking off, and they're doing cool things with AI-enabled defense. We just got a taste of that with last weekend, Ukraine doing a sneak attack on Russia sending trucks into Russia to airfields, and then the drones are released and take out at least a dozen aircraft, I think. So that's a cool one. All right, scrolling down here. The next 2.6 billion internet users will be AI first. Not surprising, as soon as they get Starlink. Okay, this is interesting. Number 9, AI job postings are up 448%, while traditional IT jobs fall. So a big flippening happening there, as agentic AI can eliminate a lot of white collar work, but then also create new jobs for the tech savvy and tech trained. All right, his last one, number 10, is the monetization models are still completely broken for now. And for instance, OpenAI is not making any money. And they've got a 1.3 billion annual burn rate. So speed is everything, Jason says. And you can get access to their full report. I just want to show the comment that somebody made here. Somebody said, isn't the whole point of AI that we don't have to read 300-page reports? And Jason says, exactly. I want to give you one more resource here. This guy's a VC, Didi. He also took a look at the report. He said, I read all 340 pages, so you don't have to. And he pulled out 20 data shots. So Didi, DAS is his handle there on X. Look him up too to see his 20 snapshots of this. All right, I want to show you something. Let's go to my home page here. So I still have trouble getting across to people about how big this AI revolution is. People still think, oh, it's a fad. The stocks just get pushed up, NVIDIA, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm always looking for new ways to communicate this. And you may recall that I created this graphic, this infographic. Maybe it's not visible; it's too visible that way. So we'll take the smaller look to show that we are in the 5th industrial revolution. So if you find this, you can find this. It's under the pin post on my X feed. But I say that the digital age gave us the internet starting in 1995. And that also included cool stuff happening in genomics and biotech. Then we get the mobile revolution, the cloud, software as a service, Internet of Things, AR, VR, blockchain, GPUs, Bitcoin you could throw in there. All kinds of cool stuff happening in the digital age. But then, let's see, how can I break this out so you guys can see this? It's a little bit tough. You might have to zoom in, but definitely just go to my X feed and in the pin post, you scroll down. So I say that in 2020, we entered the age of AI supremacy, where things are happening at a different scale, a different order of magnitude from that digital internet age. So that includes the potential of artificial general intelligence, robotics, software agents, humanoid robotics for sure, quantum computing, and other cool stuff. Now, so this is a neat infographic, but sometimes people still don't listen. So they don't understand the magnitude of how real and big this revolution is. So what did I do? Let's back out of here, go back to my, I played around with a new way to think about this. So in this post I just made today, I said, I'm reposting this because I want to use the evolution of James Clerk Maxwell's discoveries in electromagnetism in the 1860s and the subsequent innovations in electricity as an analogy for the AI revolution. And my point is that seismic transformation for science, technology, and economics happened with the birth of those discoveries in electromagnetism. They changed science, technology, economics. And one way that I stumbled into looking at it this way was a Q&A I did with a physicist on X, where he said, hey, who would you put on the physics Mount Rushmore? So he obviously had ChatGPT throw this together. You got Einstein, Galileo, Isaac Newton, and Richard Feynman. Not bad choices at all. But I said, you know what? Obviously, you keep Galileo, Newton, and Einstein, but somebody came before Feynman that was pretty important, and that would be James Clerk Maxwell. Einstein said, the work of Maxwell changed the world forever. And he's referring to his 4 great electromagnetics papers published between 1861 and 1865. That that knowledge of the wave properties of electromagnetism gave technologists and inventors just a body of knowledge and potential experimentation to run with. And so that's why, like Andrew Yang said, Andrew, last name is spelled NG. He was a co-founder of Baidu. He's always referred to AI as the new electricity or the next electricity. And so that's the way I want people to think about it too, when you think about the transformation of the world. All right, that's it for this edition of the Week in AI. Try and join us in the Friday X Space. We're doing it at noon Eastern this week. So join me and Ethan Feller, and we'll have a dozen more topics to pull out of the week. Talk to you soon.